like care about things the way that I cared about them before. Turns out when you live like that, you're gonna get a broken heart, because when you go outside of the boundaries that God has, usually there's heartbreak. Like, you have to be broken in order to be used of God.
Welcome back to another episode where we're going through your album. And today we are talking about the album title, Kindness in Calamity.
Yeah.
So will you tell us a little bit about the story behind the song? What inspired this song being written?
Okay.
I'm going to get in.
Yeah, just get cozy.
Get cozy.
Because this is a story.
All right, here we go. I got my tea.
I'm trying to decide where to start with this one. I'm kind of infamous for being like, let me go back. Wait, let me
go further back.
April 5th, 1984. I was born.
And that was the kindness let me go back to my mother.
My grandfather was into pineapple. No, sorry, but he was. But
okay. I'm not starting over, so this is all staying.
This is it.
Yeah.
No, okay. I'm not going to go that far back.
Okay.
Although my grandfather was famous for developing the pineapple in Hawaii.
Shout out to Grandpa.
Shout out to Dr. David Williams. Anyways.
So many Davids.
Yeah, a lot of Davids. My grandma, my mom, and I all married Davids.
That is a legacy. Evelyn?
Yeah,
David, look up for the Davids. The moment that a baby is born, well, I guess at this point, hopefully, you never know. But the moment that you meet somebody named David, you're like, I guess it's destiny. All right. Anyway. Okay. 1984.
So, 1984. No, I'll go forward a little bit.
All right. 1985. Sorry.
Okay. So the experience that I want to back up to that led to a moment for this song was that around the time, maybe the year after, or the short time after my dad passed away, the way that I dealt with grief was very much like an experience of just numbness and apathy. I had like a really beautiful experience of walking him through death. My family grieved together. It was really beautiful. And yet, so I thought maybe like I got all my grief out.
Been there.
Yeah. But there was another layer for me. And a lot of that experience for me was feeling numb and just like, I don't like care about things the way that I cared about them before. And I don't know how to make myself care about them again. So what am I to do besides just live and like hope that I care again soon, one day?
Maybe.
And so there was a season where I just kind of lived based on whatever felt good, whatever like brought me a sense of feeling anything again. And I didn't have really a closeness with God at this point because I didn't feel that. I didn't feel it. And so it's not that I walked away from God. I never would have said like, oh, I don't believe in God anymore. But I was just sort of like, whatever feels right is what I'm going to do right now. And it was fun for a little bit. And then there reached a point where it turns out when you live like that, you're going to get a broken heart. Because when you go outside of the boundaries that God has, usually there's heartbreak involved.
Right. How old were you at this time?
22.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I had about a year of this like numb feeling or this lack of feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
Except for when I just kind of follow your bliss or whatever. It feels good. Kind of a worldly perspective. And got my heart broken. And I just remember being like, finally crying, like having just an absolute, just weeping on my bedroom floor after getting my heart broken and being like, God, what do I do now? And I just felt like you like go to Nicaragua. Which is kind of random if you don't know the backstory, which is why I was going to go back to 1984. But
Goal pineapple.
But my parents were missionaries in Nicaragua after I left home. And so, but my dad had passed and my mom had decided to go back to Nicaragua. So she was back there, and I just felt like God was leading me to go be with my mom. She's just like, go be with your mom and go be in the place where your dad, came to life. And so I did. Like, I didn't sell everything or anything like that, but I was like kind of wrapped up a lot of things about my life where I was living at the time, and went to Nicaragua that summer. And turns out that was very much like all right, you're going to change full on
We're going to
direction.
turn the page.
Yeah, we are going to turn the page. And it turns out that summer was very monumental. My mom she met the person she was going to remarry. I met David, my David. We weren't like dating yet, but we met in Nicaragua that summer. Yeah. And we both heard about this Bible school that summer. And we both had decided, even though we had lives in other places, we weren't really grown-ups, but we were adults. Yeah. Like, we decided we're going to do this Bible school. And anyway, so this is like the big pivotal moment, I think, of my adulthood, where God sort of got my attention again and brought me to this place of this Bible school in Sebring, Florida, which was in the middle of nowhere. It felt like why God, why here? And yet it was where he really got a hold of my life. And like where I am now is like the trajectory was set in that change. So, and as we were going through the Bible with our awesome teacher, I remember the day that we studied through the book of Haggai, and we got through the first chapter of Haggai, and I was so shook by that chapter that I remember just sitting there. Everyone else had gotten up and gone to lunch or whatever happened. I don't even know. And I just sat there with like my head on my Bible. And I just felt like, this is your story. And so the first chapter of Haggai is, so the Israelites were in captivity. God's bringing them back into the land. And he gave them a specific purpose: rebuild the temple. Yeah. And so they're supposed to be rebuilding God's temple, and yet they all kind of get back into like, oh, well, this is my old family home and I'm going to rebuild it. And they're all building their own homes. And God breaks in and gives this prophetic word through Haggai that you're all dwelling in your paneled houses while my house lies desolate. And because of this, I'm going to allow you to gather your wages and put it in pockets with holes, basically. You're going to eat and never be satisfied. You're going to drink and never have your thirst quenched. You're going to lose the produce of your land. Like the things that you put your hand to aren't actually going to fulfill you. They're not going to have the outcome of what you set out to do. And basically, you're not going to experience fulfillment. You're not, like, everything that you do is going to come up empty because you don't have your priorities right. You're apathetic towards God, and you're so consumed with self that nothing you ever do to actually satisfy yourself will satisfy you. And I felt this moment of like my head on my Bible, open to Haggai. Like, this is my story. Of this couple years or whatever it was. Like, living for yourself actually just leads to emptiness and a lack of fulfillment. You think it's going to lead to fulfillment. Yep. You think it's going to lead to, oh, well, if you just follow all the things that feel good, then you'll feel good, obviously. But it doesn't work that way because we were created for more. God wants us. God made us and has a plan for us. And he desires a relationship with us. So if we don't have that in place, then we're never going to feel settled. The only time you're going to feel settled and satisfied and fulfilled is once you find your home in him. Come on. And so I just, that was the moment that like that chapter impacted my life in a way that like shifted me forever. But that wasn't when I wrote the song. But it was so meaningful to me because of that. That's the backstory of why that chapter even was meaningful.
Yeah. Can I ask a question real quick?
Please do. I've been talking for way too long.
No, you've been like preaching. That's been really good. I was actually sitting here admiring your ability to just take that and weave it all through. Anyway, it was wonderful. What did you feel like you had to do to one of the lyrics in the song is "Shake My Apathy"?
Yeah.
I feel like I hear this all the time, and I know myself, I've experienced it as well, that you have that feeling and you know that something like needs to get like shaken up. Like how do I wake up? So like for you, even in that situation, or maybe, I don't know, you can share advice, whatever it is, your head is on the Bible. Mm-hmm. What now? Mm-hmm. Is it just like, because I think that that's what people struggle with, is they're like, got it, I'm apathetic.
Yeah. How do I stop?
How do I stop being apathetic?
Right.
And I feel like I always stand there when somebody asks me that, and I'm like, you know, you just kind of keep it on. At it in the direction that is right.
Right.
Like, and the right way is, to me, I'm like, you keep pursuing the Lord.
Yep.
You keep reading his word, you keep praying, like you keep doing those things, and then patience in that process.
Right.
But I'm like, is there am I missing something? Like, is there...
Well, it takes maturity to know that you're not always going to feel something, and that doesn't make it not true.
That's true.
And so that was just something I needed to learn. Like, I was young in my faith still at that point.
And age. Yeah.
And so I did need to, I think I kind of had to learn the hard way. I think you do have to learn the hard way at some point.
DC Talk, the wise prophets said it best. Some people got to learn the hard way.
Because I was someone who wasn't like that. I came to the Lord at a young age. I grew in him as I, became my own person. I wanted God, so I did heed the advice of people around me who were like, no, trust me, you want God, not the world, Right. I was like, okay, I don't have to learn the hard way. I can learn.
I'll do it that way.
I'll learn just because you're saying this is true. And I believe it because I've experienced it to an extent, but there is a point where I think you do have to hit a wall.
100%.
And you have to go, nope, I have to make choices that reflect my own commitment. Mm-hmm. And I have to walk through the hard of, choosing this, even when I don't feel it. That's just growing up.
Yeah. Do you feel like since then, like you and I have had this conversation a few different times, but I know for me, I had to like hit rock bottom, and I thought I was like, at that time, I thought that I was decently like deep in my relationship with the Lord. And it was like, it's not that I wasn't, but it was like there was just maturity that was lacking, kind of thing. And I had to be brought like I identify completely with Kindness in Calamity, because I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I was building my own kingdom. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't hate you, I just loved me more. Like all of these lyrics, I'm like, yeah, 100%. Do you feel like every person, every Christian at some point in their walk has to be brought low in order?
Yeah.
To have a deep relationship with, you always have, I fear that is true.
At least to have a real, to be used of God.
Yeah. And there's a deep surrender that happens.
A surrender moment.
When you're brought down low. That doesn't happen.
Yep. When the Abraham and Isaac moment, or or Moses. I love this. Like Moses saying, or God saying to Moses, go tell Pharaoh this, but also like, you're going to fail. Because I need you to fail. I need you to fail a bunch of times because I have to break you. Like, you have to be broken in order to be used of God. That's just
the way you, dare I say. But that's, And I think that that's true of everybody in every faith or whatever. Like, to some extent, whatever it is, like, you know, Kanye West, that don't kill me makes me stronger. Like, there is a level of that about life that's just a generality. I would just way prefer to have been from the hand of God.
Yeah.
That brought me low. Sure. Because I trust so his strength and ability to bring me out.
Yes.
You know?
And I think, too, another thing I would say to people is you can shake things up. Yeah. Like, you can shake things up yourself as well. Okay. If you realize, like, part of that whole thing of, like, go to Nicaragua. Yeah. I think was the shaking. Yeah. Like, you need to just go do something else. Yeah. Like, get out of where you're at. Get out of your head. Get out of these relationships. Get out of these patterns. Yeah. And don't even worry about what comes after that. Just, like, go do this thing that's going to shake you up and give you an experience that's outside of your norm. Okay. So I have said that to people who have been like, what do I do with my apathy? It's like, maybe you need to go do something crazy.
Okay, what do you say that to the mom that's feeling apathetic at home with her kids? That you're like, go do something. Go move to Nicaragua. Just I don't know why you won't move. Like, you know, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too deep into this, and this is going to be a longer episode. But this is one of, I think this song, there's a reason why it's the title of the album, because it spans all of them, all the other songs, or encompasses, I should say. Yeah. But I feel like it has the most questions behind it of just, okay, practically speaking, how do I do this? Like, and I'm not suggesting that you have all the answers or that you need to give us all the answers, but I just see it in my community.
There's ways to shake things up without leaving the country. Totally. Or it's just change something about your norm. Yeah. Even something I've learned about more recently that I feel like has helped me in this is fasting. Yeah. Like, what's something that you rely on that is so habitual for you that you feel like is your life? Yeah. and just shift that.
That's good.
Whether it's, you know, fasting to recognize, like, I don't have the strength in myself to do this, and I need you, God. It helps us to connect with that truth because we feel it in our bodies.
Or perhaps what's the thing that you're running to the most? Yeah, to fill to fill the apathy.
I mean, you know, put your phone down would be a great one. Yeah, stop looking at other people's lives.
Media. Yeah, absolutely. But food can be one of those for a lot of people.
And, absolutely, especially stay-at-home moms who are creating snacks at all times of the day.
Yeah, right.
Maybe I'll have a snack. Yeah, you know, I don't know. There are ways that we come to we create habits in our lives that aren't necessarily helpful, and it's like, it's good to cause a shakeup in our own lives. So good. That could help that process. And sometimes God just does break in and go, I'm going to shake up your life. And it's not always fun, like, go travel to Nicaragua. Sometimes it's like, you're going to lose someone, or you're going to, you know, your car's going to break down. Or whatever, like,
or it's all going to happen in the course of 3 years. Yeah. You know, you're just going to have a bunch of bad things that happen, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
You understand that?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Right. We all have our story of what God did to get our attention. And if you let him get your attention and you put your eyes on him and recognize how worthy he is of our lives, then whatever it took to get our attention is worth it. That's the kindness in the calamity.